welcome to the season finale of Drift All-Stars TV. This has been the home series for Europe's strongest drivers who have been handpicked to be tested on 6 of the most epic locations on this part of the planet. These are the drivers that have battled hard all year long, from London to Lithuania. Let's sit back and experience the highlights of their epic 2014 season.
I think Wieniec is the driver of the year for me. It's just like he's had some car troubles and crashes and stuff, and no matter what happens, nothing phases him, and he's back out there pushing 110% again.
Harold Baldner in the E46 BMW. I only saw him do one round last year. This year he's just stepped onto the podium a good couple of times now, and definitely Rookie of the Year.
Jack Shanahan has a new car, and he really showed a really good skills. Hopefully we'll see him in the full next season.
Driver of the Year in 2014, I guess, has to be James Dean. He seems to, you know, I know how good he is from back home, and he's competed all across the world at this stage. But he's just so consistent, you know. Like, I know he had a couple of bad results this season, but you know, he's been so consistent and always thereabouts with qualifying and through the battles. He's definitely someone you look at and you know that he'll be on form all weekend.
Vale Crew, they're professional, but it's not all about the competition for them. It's about style, it's about having a laugh, it's about enjoying drifting, which is where drifting started, really. It's all about having fun, and they represent the fun side of drifting to the max. The style of them, they're some of the coolest looking cars in the whole of the scene. For me, that's 30–40% of what drifting is. You have to look cool while you're doing it. They are living drifting Vale Crew style.
This is it. The most original, amazing.
There's a lot of really cool cars in the series.
The coolest cars this season definitely belong to the Vale Crew. You know, all their cars, the S13, the Skyline, the Supra, they're just really awesome looking machines.
Ingerman's Jacobsen with the 6 Series, the new shape 6 Series V8 twin turbo thing. That thing is the coolest BMW drift car there is.
There's a lot of really cool people we met this year.
You know, we're like a big family. The media guys.
No, the media guys are really cool. I always have a good time with them in front of the camera and behind the scenes.
Meeting you after the event when everything's, you know, all the serious stuff's done, and we just go and have a really good time with good people. It's amazing.
I think my favourite person in the series is Niall Gunn, because he's so calm all the time and really collected, and yeah, he's a very cool guy.
Everyone loves Matt Harmon, you know what I mean? He's such a cool guy, and he loves this so much, and he put so much effort into it, and yeah, he's a character, and he brings something a bit different to the pit lane, you know. So
I'm really happy to make a lot of new friends this year.
Take life one day at a time. With this gift that I got, creating a rhyme. There's no room for mistakes. Stand the test of time. Take life.
Sunshine in England for a change. The best location for England. London, best UK event I've ever been to.
London was torture. We just finished the car. We got no sleep the week coming up to it. Things didn't go so well. We got the car running. Just no seat time. Cool atmosphere around there though, because of it being in the city centre and the Olympic Park. It was a great event. Yeah, I just wish I had a bit more time to prepare. So.
We came into London with a whole new season, and many new drivers were keen to get their championships off to a good start and score as many points as possible. James Dean came into the opening round more motivated than ever and qualified high, taking 2nd place. In the battles, unfortunately, his day would end in the top 16 after a major transmission issue. Top Polish driver Piotrek Wieniec would come out swinging and take 1st place in qualifying. He traveled across Europe to fight for this championship. In the battles, he took out a lot of big names, and eventually, in the first semi-final battle of the day, beat top UK driver Dan Chapman after Dan miscalculated his speed and hit the wall. In the other semi-final battle, an all-Latvian battle between Jānis Eglete and Ingus Jakobsen, which showed both drivers pushing to the absolute limit. But in the second run, Jakobsen would repeat Chapman's mistake and be another victim to the concrete jungle in London, handing Eglete the win. Eglete would need to retire after catastrophic engine failure after a semi-final battle with Jakobsen. This would mean that Piotrek Więcek would take the win at the British Drift GP. Piotrek would have an early lead in the Drift All-Stars European Championship, making a point to the rest of the drivers. The next stop on our tour was the Czech Republic.
Czech Republic, it was a really cool track. Had everything from fast, technical to good, close battling. For me, Czech Republic was the best track.
This was a new stop for Drift All-Stars, and this track would really challenge drivers with both technical high-speed sections as well as lower-speed corners. With another full grid of 50 drivers, this was going to be a big weekend, with many more different drivers flocking to the series and over 15 different national champions in attendance. This was going to be a great fight. James Dean was charging after his early exit in round 1. With a few setup changes, he was in good form and found the top spot at qualifying. David Karkošek, who came in third in 2013, was keen to get his championship chase back in place and would drive like an absolute madman and qualify second overall.
David Karkošek, I think his battling has progressed so much over the winter and into this season, and just watching him battle against likes of James Dean and people like that, he's so close and on it all the time. Brilliant to watch.
David Karkošek had to battle his teammates all the way up to the semifinals, where he had to beat Polish rival Marek Wartowicz in a super close battle. In the finals, David would meet first place qualifier James Dean. The Falcon car of James Dean would lead in the first run, but suddenly Dean's car would cut out, causing Karkošek to make contact. James Dean was not able to resolve his issue, handing Karkošek the top position. This win would bump David up in the points table, making him the #1 contender after 2 rounds. His teammate Piotrek Więcek in second and James Dean in third. We'll be right back after the break.
Mantorp Park, a legendary track. I've always watched it in videos, the Gateville series and things like that, and it was just an honour to actually drive on that track, and it's bloody fast.
I think my favourite round this season was Mantorp Park, because I qualified first and finished first. And it was a great weekend all around, and we had a good party the night after.
Sweden, fast, legendary track. Lots of sun, 1 million hits on the Facebook page. It was something to celebrate that day.
Really enjoyed it. 4th gear entry, and just flowed really well. The faster we can do this, the better, you know, and we could really open the cars up there and really have a good time with it, and really see what these cars are made of. So it went down pretty well, and great country, great people, great spectators, and really enjoyed it up there. Really, really nice place.
I really enjoyed that event. It was my second time competing in Sweden. There's a lot of new drivers from the Nordic region, and yeah, they really impressed me with their cars and their setups, and obviously they had more time on the track compared to us coming in there. It was my first time driving in Mantorp Park, but it was a really good event. The fastest layout of the season, almost 100 miles an hour on the first corner, and it's really good fun to drive, and yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Frederick in the Spice Aura, he was turned up at that event the first time we'd seen him. I'd watched his car in Gateville videos, and he just came and showed he was to fight for. Those cars all around Norwegian run so much boost, big turbos, loads of power, crazy, weird, different cars that we've not seen before, and that's again brilliant to see in drifting.
I think Rookie of the Year for me this year was Frederick from the White S14 from Sweden. You can see the good drivers and how long it takes them to get used to a new track. He was always one of the first drivers to nail down the qualifying line, so he really impressed me.
Every time I hold the mic.
In Sweden, James Dean took first place in qualifying for the second round in a row, showing that he was out to gain some points back. In the first semi-final, local Swedish driver Alexander Grandlund would battle Norwegian Fredrik Oksnevad. The young Norwegian would smoke the place out, and after a very strong second battle, would take the win. The second semi-final would be an all-Irish affair, with James Dean facing his young apprentice Jack Shanahan. In the second run, the master Dean would take the win over his student Jack. The final would come down to the top two qualifiers, with Dean versus Oksnevad. The rookie driver Oksnevad would have a great first run, but in his second run, Dean was stuck to the back of Oksnevad's car, giving him a huge advantage and the win. That day, in that battle, James showed insane skill. He had Fredrik on every transition, predicting his grip, and took the well-deserved top spot on the podium. After this victory, James Dean would soar into the lead of the championship. Martin Richards of England would jump into second place, followed by Nigel Colford of Ireland in third after the first 3 rounds. With 3 different winners over 3 events, the 2014 championship was turning into an incredibly close fight. The 4th round of the Extreme Drift All-Stars would touch down at the legendary Pikerniki circuit in the center of Riga for the Latvian Drift GP. Drivers performed better than ever, because for most of the drivers, this was a familiar track. All the locals came well-trained and blazed through the track with no mistakes. Qualifying was a hard thing to judge, since all the drivers had found great form by mid-season. Team Budmat would be back in force after missing the Swedish Drift GP. Wiecek and Dean would go at it, dropping nearly perfect scores in qualifying. But again, it would be Piotr Wiecek wowing the crowd and taking first place.
A really challenging track to drive and get used to.
Some really nice people up there, and a really nice city, and it was a really good time we had up there. So that's probably the best part of this season so far.
In the main event, there were many upsets, with both Dean and Wiecek making early exits from the competition after uncharacteristic mistakes. Riga would live up to its name of always causing upsets and show why Latvian drivers are so strong on their home soil. Local legend Kristaps Blus would march on to the finals and face the Polish champion. Blus would take the win on his home turf and become the 4th winner of the season. After the 4th round, James Dean would have a good lead and remain the #1 contender. Piotr Wiecek and Nigel Colford would be tied for 3rd place. They would need to put in a lot of work in Estonia to get back in the race.
Like I love that city so much. We've been there so many times, and it's like a home from home at this stage.
The whole scenery. Riga is a really cool city. The track is amazing, and the people are really nice.
Latvia, always Latvia. It's just crazy. The street parades, the track, the crowd, the sun.
Riga, just the clubs, the nightlife. Definitely these Baltic countries, it's just a different atmosphere to Western Europe completely, and yeah, I love it here. I really, really do.
It's the 2nd time we've done Latvia, and we usually travel on to another event the next weekend. So we stay in Latvia for a week, holiday it up, party it up. It's just the best summer experience for me.
The 5th round of the series would bring us to Leitza Rally Park for the Estonian Drift GP. This event's wild card would be American driver Ryan Turek, drafted in by the Russian team Fail Crew to cause mayhem. This custom layout on this classic circuit had a mix of everything, giving drivers new conditions to overcome. Rally-style jumps and elevation changes made this the most dangerous event of the year.
Death race, that's what it was. It's just cars crashing everywhere. But a really hardcore track, undulations in the track, jumps, the crowd really close. It's everything you want to see in a drift event.
With just 2 events to go, all of the drivers were hammering down to make the final chase for the championship. We had an awesome crowd for our first year in Estonia. The Estonian Drift GP was set to be a great weekend.
Estonia, awesome track, like pure rally style with the jump and landing on the wall. Definitely one of my favourite tracks also.
There's been a lot of crashes. I mean, there's loads of walls in this series, and everybody's pushing 100%. Peter Wojciech in the Budmat S14, man, he hit that wall hard.
He hit that car really hard.
You can see in the video, the car jumped off all 4 wheels, and believe it or not, they fixed it in 3 weeks.
Luckily, he had a spare car there, and he wasn't afraid to get right back in the spare car and push it hard right away. So Yeah, definitely a crazy crash, and he needed a lot of confidence and balls to go back out there and push hard right away.
Crazy. For me, that car was a write-off.
James Deane would bounce back after his early exit in Riga and take second in qualifying. James would need every point in the final 2 rounds as it was coming down to the wire. Again, James's Polish rival, Piotrek Więcek, claimed first in qualifying after having a huge crash. Piotrek was prepared to fight till the very end. Every extra point in qualifying could mean the difference later on in the championship. Jānis Eglete from Latvia would defeat Więcek in the top 16, sending him home early. A huge blow considering Więcek was looking to gain back some points. Eglete was showing great form in the second half of his season. James Deane would have his work cut out for him against Finnish driver Juha Poitausko. Juha would be on point and have a quicker reaction while chasing. This was becoming a weekend of upset, continuing when Karkošek also got beaten by his rival Stolarski. The wildcard driver from the States, Brian Turek, would not have as many issues and battle his way to the final, where he would meet 20-year-old 2014 Estonian drift champion Harold Valdma. In the run-up, Turek would chase Valdma super close and actually make contact on entry over the jump. Turek would show why he's one of the best drivers in the world and stick to Valdma's door throughout the run. From turn 1 to turn 4, he mimicked Valdma's every move, taking a huge advantage and the win at the very first Estonian Drift GP. After this round in the points race, James Deane would be ahead by a mere 41 points. This result is putting a lot of pressure on the top 3 drivers, since up next is their last chance to take the championship. Piotrek and David will need to do whatever it takes to win first place in both qualifying and battles to take first place overall. The 6th and final stop of 2014 would bring us to the streets of Kaunas for the Lithuanian Drift GP. The high-speed, urban terrain gave this round that extra touch that made this the best finals yet. James Deane and Piotrek Więcek would again go at it in qualifying, but yet again, Piotrek would take an early edge. This was a huge psychological win in qualifying for the Polish driver going into the main event.
Lithuania, awesome sunshine, hard walls, a brilliant crowd.
Quite similar so far, I think, to Latvia. The track is awesome, like we're drifting on the streets and going across 8 lanes of traffic, so it's amazing to drive. It's very difficult because you can't drive the track before it's laid out. Basically, my first run around the track was in the drift car sideways, so that was really exciting.
Drifting on the street, that's what it's all about.
It was completely new, and I think they've stepped it up a level this year. Yeah, it's the same track, but everything going on behind the scenes seemed to really improve. It's a great event now. Something so different. Normally, these are just normal streets with buses and cars and pedestrians and everything, and you know, to be able to close down that, and it's just adds something more. Yeah, definitely one of the probably the favourite event of this year so far.
James Deane would fight through some tough battles, taking out Valdma, Jacobsen, and Kolfer on his way to the final. Does he have what it takes to finish the job? In the 3rd place battle, Nigel would take the win over Jānis Eglete in the BMW, showing a great charge for the Irish driver at the end of his season. James Deane and Piotrek Więcek would battle all over Europe, and through great rivalry and friendship, the championship would come down to the very last battle. Piotrek Więcek was 4 times first place qualifier and showed great improvement with every race. Consistent runs and on the edge battles proved that he had what it takes to be one of the best drivers the series has ever seen. You couldn't script it any better if you wrote it. And now, the whole championship will come down to two 30-second runs to see who will win the 2014 Drift All-Stars European Championship. Wiecek would lead the first run, and you could see he was going harder than ever. Both drivers pushing the cars to their absolute limits on this unforgiving track in Lithuania. James would leave no room for error and stayed glued to the back of Wiecek's car, even with these crazy speeds.
Super close.
In the second run, James Dean would lay it all on the line and would have the run of his life, carrying maximum angle and speed. Wiecek would catch too much angle and slow down, creating a slight gap through the course, giving James Dean the advantage and the title.
James Dean just led the run of all runs.
This would mean that James Dean would be the 2014 Drift All-Stars European champion. After this very close-fought championship, thank you for watching and tuning in. Make sure you check us out on our website, drift-allstars.com. We've got a lot more lined up for 2015 and can't wait for you guys to be a part of it. Thank you again for watching. See you guys next year.
A couple brews and good news. With my crew beside me, I don't see how I could lose. Ain't from the hood, but I always understood hood rules. To run the town, you gotta have soul and wear good shoes. I transmit through your bandwidth, handpicked to make tracks that you can't skip. Classic as Stan Smith's. In my dreams, I hear paparazzi cans click. I wake up trying to make plans stick. You know that is what the fam get. I put my beats first, each verse a pamphlet. Complex and Sanskrit. Moving through the fire, I'm the new supplier. The music that your crew and you desire. Unifier, the ill rhymes and scratch hooks and graffiti black books. They love that soul food grub that pro and not cook. From L-Town to U-Town, Mount Eden to Flatbush.
What's the deal, bro? B, how you feel?
I'm feeling fine.
What's your life like?
Good, but it's still a grind.
What's your crew like?
I deal with the realest kind, but right now I'm just killing time.
I'm nice with the words. On the mic.